smartest kids in the history of the world. They lied, they stole, they smoked cigars, even the girls. And they talked dirty, cussed their teachers, and took the name of the Lord in vain and set fire to Fred Shoemaker's old broken-down tool house. There were 6 of them: Ralph, Imogen, Leroy, Cloud, Ollie, and Glenn. And they went through Woodrow Wilson School like those South American fish that stripped your bones clean. They went around town the same way, stealing, tearing things up, and whamming kids, so it was hard to get away from them. There was only one safe place.
Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, because there are no hurdles there. And Jesus loved us, as they say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother Charlie. That's what he said when the Sunday school teacher asked us what we thought about church. It made her mad because everybody said good things about God and Jesus and good feelings, but good old Charlie told the real truth.
No Herdmans. I don't care what everybody else said. That's what they really thought. But to me, it's only one good reason. The Herdmans aren't there ever.
I don't think that's a very good Christian sentiment.
It's a very practical sentiment. Charlie was black and blue all last year, sitting next to Leroy Herdman in school.
Is he the worst one, Leroy?
They're all the worst one.
Well, see, Ralph's the biggest, so...
That doesn't make any difference. Glenn isn't big, but he's fast and he's mean and he bites.
Well, I'm sorry I asked. Just stay away from all of them, okay?
That's what I said. Stay away from him. Go to church.
I'm glad to hear you feel that way.
Why?
No arguments about the Christmas pageant.
I don't want to be another shepherd.
Tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Everybody's in it. How do you think I'd feel on Christmas Eve if my own children aren't in the pageant? And how would your father feel?
Well, actually, I didn't plan on going. How crowded it always is, and somebody's probably going to need my seat. I think I'm going to stay at home, sit in my bathrobe, relax, watch some TV. You know, it's the same pageant year after year. Nothing's ever different.
There's going to be something this year different.
What?
Charlie's going to be wearing your bathrobe.
Yeah, you just thought of that now, Grace.
Why don't you pay Elmer Hopkins? I'm sure he'll give you $1, because he's really sick and tired of being Joseph. Just because his father's a minister and nobody else wants to do it.
Nobody wants to be in it.
What are you going to be this year?
I'm always in the angel choir.
Why can't Charlie be in the angel choir?
Because I can't sing.
Year after year, doesn't matter. I've heard Away in the Manger, and they all sound like a bunch of mice in the closet to me.
Well, what do you wear in the angel choir?
Bed sheets.
Oh boy, some choice. A bathrobe or a bedsheet. Come on, let's go watch some TV.
You know Mrs. Armstrong works very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Exactly.
Mom, Miss Armstrong just likes to run things.
They're right. She does like to run things. She runs the pageant, she runs the potluck, she runs the bazaar, she would even do the sermon if someone would let her.
Is that George Armstrong's wife?
Yes.
Well, maybe she'll try to manage the hospital because that's where she is. I saw George at the drugstore. He was getting a prescription. He told me that his wife broke her leg this morning. And she's at the hospital in traction, and she'll be there until the 1st of the year.
The 1st of the year, we're going to have to cancel Christmas.
She's in charge of Christmas now?
Well, she's in charge of the pageant and the potluck and the bazaar. I feel sorry for Helen. Who's going to do all those things?
Yes, I'll take over the bazaar, Edna. If you'll do the potluck supper, I don't know what in the world we'll do about the pageant. Unless... How about Grace?
Hi, kids. I would love to be in charge of the social hour. What about Grace doing the pageant?
Well, no one can replace Mrs. Armstrong, but what about Grace?
Hello, Grace?
Bob,
What?
I have to direct the pageant.
Does that mean I have to go now?
Our Christmas pageant isn't exactly four-star entertainment. It's pretty much the same thing every year. Mrs. Armstrong breaking her leg was the most unexpected thing. It's usually the same old Christmas story and the same old Christmas carols and the same old Mary and Joseph. That's what my mom had to work with. That and Mrs. Armstrong.
Tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Here's what I do. I always start with Mary, and I tell them we must choose our Mary carefully because Mary was the mother of Jesus.
I thought Mrs. Armstrong was in traction. How can she talk on the phone when she's in traction?
What do you think traction is?
Like when they put you to sleep.
No such luck.
I have my notes right here. Tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everybody a chance.
Beth, we need some salt and pepper. Oh, and napkins too, please.
Yes, and then I tell them about Joseph, and that he was God's choice to be Jesus' father. That's how I explain that. I always start with Mary and tell them we must choose our Mary carefully because Mary was the mother of Jesus.
I know that, Helen.
Now, frankly, I don't ever spend much time on Joseph because it's always Elmer Hopkins and he knows all about Mary and Joseph. But I do explain about the wise men and the shepherds and how important they are. And I tell them there are no small parts, only small actors.
I'm hungry. Leroy Herman took my lunch again.
How come you let him do that day after day?
How can I stop him?
Remind the angel choir not to stare at the audience and don't let them wear earrings and things like that.
Where's the chicken?
And don't let them wear clunky shoes or high heels. I just hope you don't have too many baby angels, Grace, because they'll be your biggest problem.
It's still in the oven.
I'll go get it.
And you'll have to get someone to push the baby angels on. Otherwise, they'll get in each other's way and bend their wings. Bob could do that. And he could keep an eye on the shepherds, too. Oh, another thing about the angel choir.
Helen, I have to go. There's someone at the door.
Don't let them wear lipstick.
I'll talk to you later.
And it looks terrible.
Helen, I have to go. There's someone at the door.
So tell them,
Helen, I have to go. There's someone at the door.
and Grace, don't use just anybody's baby for Jesus. Get a quiet one. Better yet, get two if you can. Then if one turns out to be fussy, you can always switch them.
I'll talk to you later.
Lady, can you get me a meal? I haven't had anything in 3 days.
For heaven's sakes, it's you.
Oh, I was at the table by myself. I'm lonely.
Helen's lonely too at the hospital.
Now with the telephone's working.
I bet she told you about no small parts, only small actors.
Yeah, and that you need somebody to shove the baby angels on and make the shepherd shut up.
Yeah, she suggested your father.
Huh. Does that mean I have to go now?
My mother didn't pay much attention to Mrs. Armstrong. She said that Mrs. Armstrong was stuck in the hospital thinking of stuff that could go wrong, but there wasn't going to be anything wrong. Of course, Mother didn't count on the Herdmans. That was Charlie's fault.
took my dessert again.
How do you know?
Was it in here?
What was it?
Brownies.
Yep, you're right.
You think it's so great taking my dessert every day? Well, I'll give you my dessert every day. I don't care. I get all the dessert I want in Sunday school.
Yeah? What kind of desserts?
We get refreshments all we want, and all kinds, like chocolate cake, Twinkies, Big Wheels, cookies, candy bars, you name it.
You're a liar.
And ice cream and donuts and cupcakes.
Who gives it to you?
The minister.
He must be crazy.
No, I think he's rich.
Sunday school, huh?
That was the wrong thing to tell the Herdmans. And sure enough, there they were next Sunday, just in time to hear about the Christmas pageant.
What's a pageant? It's a play. Like on TV, what's it about? It's about Jesus.
Everything here is...
It's about Mary. Mostly it's about Mary.
Who's Mary?
I am. Well, probably. I know the part.
Come on, Beth, Charlie, David. Now this won't take long if you all settle down. Today we're going to decide who's going to play the main roles in the Christmas pageant. And you all know what Mrs. Armstrong says. There are no small parts, just small actors.
That's what she always says, but she doesn't say what it means.
Don't you know what it means?
I know what it means. It means that the short people have to be in front in the angel choir.
Well, not exactly. What it means is even the littlest baby angel is just as important as Mary.
I don't think anyone is as important as Mary. Naturally, that's what you would think, Alice. But I think Jesus is just as important.
Girls, everyone is as important as Mary and Jesus and the short kids. Now, is everyone here? Beverly, will you go check in the hall and see if anyone else is coming? Now what's the matter? Let's make some room here for the Herdmans. What happened to Beverly?
She just left.
Did she say she was sick?
She just left. All I said was hi.
I see. Well, will someone please tell Beverly when the next rehearsals are? The next 4 Wednesdays, and we'll need everyone here after school. Everyone, please plan to be here.
But if we got sick?
You won't get sick. Of course, Mary and Joseph have to be here, absolutely.
What if Mary and Joseph get sick?
They won't get sick either.
Well, Beverly got sick and we didn't even start yet.
We don't know that Beverly got sick. Beverly, come on in. Now, I want you to think about Mary. We all know that what kind of person Mary was. She was quiet and gentle and kind. And who would like to play Mary? Imogen, do you have a question?
No, I just want to be married. And Ralph over here, he wants to be Joseph.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll just make a list of the volunteers for these parts, and then we'll decide who it should be. Ralph Herdman. Now, who else would like to be Joseph? Did you raise your hand, David?
No.
Do we have some volunteers? Just raise your hands. Please, any volunteers? Any shepherds? Very well. Ralph Herdman will be our Joseph. Now, Imogen has volunteered to be Mary. I'll just write that down. What other names can I put on my list? Janet, Roberta, Alice, don't you want to be Mary?
No, I don't want to be married.
I'll be married.
Shut up, Glenn. I'm already married. You can be a wise man.
Well, the wise men are usually boys. Of course, they don't have to be. And we could...
I'll be a wise man. Me too, Claude. You want to be a wise man? Raise your hand.
What's a wise man?
Just raise your hand.
What's left for me?
Some angel.
I'll be that. What is it?
It's the angel of the Lord who brought the good news to the shepherds in the field. There, we do have some volunteers after all. David, would you like to be a shepherd?
No, I just wanted to say I can't be a shepherd.
Why not?
We're going to Philadelphia.
Why didn't you say so before?
I just remembered. My mother doesn't want me to be a shepherd.
Why not?
I don't know. She just said don't be a shepherd. I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Oh, yes, you are. What's the matter with you?
I don't want to be a shepherd. Glenn Herdman hits too hard.
That's ridiculous. Glenn isn't going to hit anyone. The angel of the Lord just visits the shepherds in the field and tells them the good news.
It hits them.
Charlie, that's ridiculous. I don't want to hear another word about it from anyone. No shepherds may quit or get sick. Now that's all for today, boys and girls. You can go, but I expect everyone here on Wednesday at 6:30.
Didn't you want to be married? I didn't dare raise my hand. Imogene would have killed me. What did she say? I'm going to be Mary in this pageant, and if you raise your hand or open your mouth, you'll wish you didn't. And what did you say? I'm always Mary in the Christmas pageant. What did she say? Go ahead then, and next spring when the pussy willows come out, I'll stick one so far down your ear that no one will be able to reach it, and it'll sprout and it'll grow and grow, and then you'll have a pussy willow growing out of your ear for the rest of your life. You know she wouldn't do that. She would too. Herdmans will do anything. She'll do something horrible and ruin the pageant, and it's all your mother's fault.
Imogene, you know Mary didn't wear earrings.
Well, I just got my ears pierced. If I don't keep these in, they'll close up.
Now you know they won't close up in an hour and a half. What did the doctor tell you to do?
What doctor?
Okay. Who pierced your ears?
Glenn.
He probably did it with an ice pick. I bet Imogene's ears will turn black and fall off.
Hello, Jane. Edna McCarthy. Have you heard about the... Well, it must be Grace's fault somehow. How could all 6 of them be in the Christmas pageant when they ought to be in jail?
Vera, Irma Slocum, I just heard that Imogene Herdman is going to be Mary in the Christmas pageant, and is that a fact? All 6 of them? Vera, I live next door to that outfit, and I'd rather live next door to a zoo. Has Grace gone crazy?
Where did they come from? Who let them in? Imogene Herdman? What kind of a child is that to be Mary, the mother of Jesus? Where was Reverend Hopkins, I'd like to know? He was what? Visiting shut-ins? Well, I'm a shut-in and he wasn't visiting me.
I said, why don't you let them hand out programs at the door? But Grace said, we never hand out programs at the Christmas pageant. And I said...
Better nail down the church and lock up the silver service and hide the collection plates before they clean them out.
What was the matter with Grace? Couldn't she have sent them away? Tell them to go home. Oh, I feel responsible. If I'd been up and around, this never would have happened.
There, dear. I think it's time for one of your blue pills.
If I'd been up and around, this never would have happened. Well, I'll tell you.
Don't tell me, I'm on your side. Come on, the car's over here.
That Helen Armstrong, she thinks she's the only one who could run a pageant. I'm doing the best I can under the circumstances. I'm determined to have the best pageant ever. After all, they raised their hands, and I don't care.
Good for you, Grace. Now come on, the car's over here.
And you're going to help me.
Oh, does that mean I
Yes, you have to go. The inn is back here off stage, and the shepherds come in and gather around the manger.
What's an inn? It's like a motel where people go to spend the night.
What people? Jesus?
Why?
To pay their taxes.
At a motel?
Shut up, Molly. Everybody shut up. I want to hear it. Start at the beginning, please.
The beginning?
At the beginning of the play. What happens first?
Imogene, this is the Christmas story from the Bible. Haven't you ever heard the Christmas story from the Bible? Well, that's the Christmas pageant. I better read it to you. Let me read it from the Bible for you.
I don't believe that, do you? They never heard the Christmas story before? They don't even know what a Bible is. They've never been to church in their entire life until your stupid brother told us we got refreshments.
Now we have to waste all this time for nothing.
And there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph went up from Galilee with Mary, his wife, being great with child.
Pregnant? She was pregnant?
All right, now, we all know that Mary was pregnant. And it came to pass while they were there that the days were accomplished and she would be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son.
I don't think it's very nice to say that Mary was pregnant.
Well, she was.
I don't think that your mother should say that Mary was pregnant. It's better to say great with child. I'm not supposed to talk about people being pregnant, especially in church.
And wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there were no rooms left in the inn.
Holy jamoly, they didn't have room for Jesus?
Well, they didn't know the baby was going to be Jesus.
Didn't Mary know? What about him? Didn't Joseph know? Why didn't he tell anybody? Her being pregnant and all.
Well, they didn't have a bed in the barn, so Mary had to use what was available to her. What would you do if you had a new baby and no bed to put the baby in?
I'd use a dresser drawer.
Well, there you go.
Oh, we had a bed, but I was in it and I wouldn't get out.
That was pretty smart of Ralph, not to let Glenn right off the bat.
Anyway, a manger is a large wooden feeding trough for animals.
What were the wadded up clothes?
The what?
It says here that she wrapped him in wadded up clothes.
Swaddling clothes. A long time ago, people would wrap babies in large pieces of material to make them feel cozy.
You mean they tied him up and put him in a feed box? Where's the child welfare?
The child welfare is at our house every 5 minutes.
There wasn't any child welfare in Bethlehem.
I'll say there wasn't.
And there were shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of...
Shazam!
What?
Of the Black Knight with mighty vengeance, the mighty Marvo.
I don't know what you're talking about, Glenn.
The mighty Marvo in Amazing Comics. Of the Black Knight with mighty vengeance.
This is the angel of the Lord that came to the shepherds.
Out of nowhere, right? In the Black Knight, right?
Well, in a way.
Shazam!
Now, when Jesus was born, there were wise men from the east bearing gifts of gold and frankincense.
What's that?
And myrrh.
What's that?
They were special gifts of spices and precious oils.
Oil? What kind of present is oil? We get better presents from the welfare. The wise men, were they the welfare agency?
They were the kings, and they were sent.
Well, it's about time someone important showed up. If they're kings, they can get the baby out of the barn and tell the innkeeper to go jump in a lake.
They were sent by Herod. Well, he was the main king, and he wanted to find Jesus and put him to death.
My goodness, they're going to kill a baby that just got born?
Who's Herod in this play?
Herod isn't in the play.
He's out to kill the baby, and he's not even in the play? Well, there better be a Herod. Charlie can be Herod. And he says, go get me that baby. And they say, okay, because he's a king and all.
They don't do it. They go back and get Herod.
I'm not going to be Herod.
No one is going to be Herod.
No, Joseph goes and gets all the shepherds together and they go hunt down Herod.
Forget about Herod. There's no Herod.
Now run away with the baby until the fight's over.
Somebody ought to fix the innkeeper. Glenn, go fix the innkeeper.
I can't. I'm an angel.
Well, I wouldn't just hang around out in the barn. I'd go get a room.
She said there wasn't any room left.
Then I'd throw somebody out. I'd say, I've got this baby and it's the middle of winter, so either get out or move over.
I'd go after Herod.
I'd send the angel after him. He could just take his electric finger and zap him into ashes. Yeah, zap.
What's the name of this pageant? She never said.
Christmas pageant.
That's no name, that's what it is.
I know a name. I know a name. Revenge at Bethlehem.
Revenge at Bethlehem. The herdmen thought the Christmas story came right out of the FBI files. At least they picked the right villain, Herod, and wanted to gang up on him and not baby Jesus. Anyway, it was supposed to be Eugene Slocum, but Miss Slocum didn't want Imogen Herdman to get her hands on him. So we didn't have a baby Jesus, and that bothered my mother. She kept trying to snatch up a baby, even at the last rehearsal.
Can we use your baby for the Christmas pageant?
Who's going to be Mary?
Imogene Herdman?
I don't think so. We're going to be out of town.
I can get us a baby.
How are you going to do that?
There's always 2 or 3 babies outside of the supermarket. I can get us one of those.
You can't just take somebody's baby, Imogene. We're just going to have to use a doll.
I guess that's better. Dolls don't bite anyways.
Oh, Grace, there you are. You know, we're downstairs in the basement making applesauce cookies, and I guess we'll try not to bother you. This is your dress rehearsal?
It's supposed to be. I hear Rudy's had a baby about a month ago.
Oh, yeah, she's 5 weeks old.
Do you think I could call her to see if we could borrow the baby for the
You know, I'm not so sure that'd be a good idea. I could lie to you and say she's cranky or not feeling well, but actually she is just beautiful and healthy and happy. But I'm sorry, Imogene Herdman, she's not going to have that baby in her arms. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Brandy, you can use my baby brother for Jesus.
I didn't know you had a new baby.
He's not a new baby, he's 4 years old, but he's double jointed and I think he can scrunch up.
Well, I don't think so.
What do you keep writing in that book?
It's like a diary.
It is not. It's all about the Herdmans. Imogene curses and swears all the time. Ralph talks about sexy things. My mom called Mary pregnant, and Glenn Herdman drinks communion wine. It's not wine, it's grape juice.
I don't care what it is. She drinks it. I've seen her 3 times with her mouth all purple. They steal, too. If you shake the birthday bank, it doesn't make a sound because they stole all the coins out of it. And every time you go to the ladies' room, the whole air is blue because Imogene Herdman is sitting there in the Mary costume smoking cigars.
And you wrote all that down? What for?
For my mother and Reverend Hopkins and the Ladies' Aid Society and anyone else who wants to know what happened when the whole Christmas pageant turns out into a mess.
Now, is that your costume? Is that what you're going to wear? You're supposed to have your costumes today. Why don't you have a costume?
I don't have a costume. I haven't been a shepherd before.
You have to wear your father's bathrobe. That's what I have to do.
My father doesn't have a bathrobe.
What's he hanging around the house in?
His underwear.
All right, pretend you're wearing costumes.
Shepherds keeping watch over the flocks by night.
Music, shepherds.
An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and
Shazam!
No, Glenn.
Out of the black night.
No! Go on.
A multitude of the heavenly host.
Music, angels. Music, wise men.
I've got the baby here, don't touch him. I named him Jesus.
No. Mary doesn't say anything.
Let go, give him back.
Mary, Joseph, make a pretty picture for us to look at and think about what Christmas means. Now put the doll back.
I don't get to say anything. An angel tells me what to name him. If it was my choice, I would name him Bill.
Oh, what a terrible thing to say.
What angel was that? There's angels all over the place. Was that you, Glenn?
No, Glenn brought the good news to the shepherds.
Yeah, unto you a child is born.
Unto me, not them. Me. I'm the one who had the baby.
No. That means Jesus was born. A child was born to all of us.
Why did they let Mary name their own baby? Did the angel just walk up to her and say, name them Jesus?
Yes.
I know what she said. She said, his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Prince of Peace.
Holy jamoly, he would have never got out of the first grade if he had to write all that.
Shazam?
fire.
Where's the fire?
Why in the world did you call the fire department?
There was a lot of smoke. The ladies' room was full of smoke.
There couldn't have been. Now look, the church is full of the firemen, the baby angels are outside crying, the shepherds are climbing on the fire truck, and half the neighborhood is out. Didn't you know it was cigar smoke?
No, I didn't know it was cigar smoke. I don't expect to find cigar smoke in the ladies' room.
We never did start over. We never even went through the whole thing.
5 minutes turned into 15 minutes, and Imogene Herdman spent the whole time smoking cigars in the ladies' room.
Then Mrs. McCarty went to the ladies' room and called the fire department because she saw all that smoke.
He dragged everyone out of the building and dragged a fire hose through the church looking for the fire.
But the only one they found was in the kitchen when all the applesauce cake burned up.
And the ladies were all mad.
I've been on the telephone all day. This is a complete disaster.
Did they really set fire to the ladies' room?
I heard they set fire to the kitchen.
Now, Joanne, really, just because it got a little smoky.
Well, the whole church is in an uproar. I know Jesus said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me," but I'm not sure he meant the herdsmen.
Well, I think that we should cancel the pageant.
Oh, they're not that bad. In fact, Mr. Ackman is working on the set right now. Reverend Hopkins, why don't you call Donna? I'm sure you'll get some positive news.
Okay.
What? No set? How bad can this get?
Who wants to be embarrassed by this whole mess?
We could cancel and blame it on the fire.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. And maybe if we made some cookies, you know, the ones with the cream inside.
This is serious. This pageant is going to be a complete
A disaster.
That's assuming that anyone will be here to see it.
You know what? I'll get to work on those cookies. It's like, no matter how bad the pageant is, if you have good cookies, everyone's going to think it's a success.
I can't even see where I'm going. Where do you want me to put this thing?
Watch your step. I'll turn the light on.
Where do you want it?
I thought it was going to look like a palm tree, but obviously it doesn't. I have no idea what today's going to be like, and the Herdman still think it's some kind of spy thriller. We've never once gone through the whole thing. It may be the first Christmas pageant ever where Joseph and the wise men get in a fight and Mary runs off with the baby. Where are the kids?
All the kids in the world are in the basement putting on robes.
No, our kids. Where are our kids?
Here we are.
Where are your costumes? Get your costumes on. It's getting late.
This is going to be awful, you know. They look like trick or treat, all fastened together and dirty. Those stupid safety pins holding everything together in their moldy old sneakers. Ah, Mary and Joseph, I mean, they just look like refugees or something.
Well, that's what Mary and Joseph were. They were refugees. They were looking for a place to go. They were probably cold, tired, hungry, and messy.
I don't know about cold and hungry, but they're sure messy.
Oh dear, do you think I should?
I think you worry too much. I'm going to go push baby and shepherds and everything on stage. When do I do all that?
Just follow the script.
Okay, so baby angels, shepherd, wise men. Doesn't seem to say here where the fire engines come in. I'm just kidding.
My halo won't say it.
Here, let me fix it for you. Is everyone here? Glenn, where's your halo?
Our cat burned it.
Here, put this on.
I think I should say something other than the baby king.
No, Glenn, you say, "Unto us a child is born." And Glenn, good luck.
Mrs. Bradley, actors don't say good luck. Actors say break a leg.
Yes, I know that, Alice. But in this case, for those of you who don't know, break a leg is just a theatrical saying. Now, Imogene, try to remember that this is a baby, and for today, it's baby Jesus.
see how horrible Mary looked?
Yeah, and Joseph wasn't really much better.
Yeah, he's terrible. Let's just go get this over with.
Tell me about it. In the days of Caesar Augustus, a decree went out that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph went into Bethlehem with his wife Mary, who was great with child. And while they were there, she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Look at them. Aren't they awful? What's she doing with the baby? She's trying to burp the baby like it has a colic. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, it could have had colic, just like any other baby.
I don't care. It looks awful. They look awful.
So what? They just came a long way, and now they don't have any place to stay, and they got a new baby to worry about?
Who? Ralph and Imogene?
No, Mary and Joseph. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them. The glory of the Lord shone around them. They were sore afraid. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them.
A child is born.
And suddenly there was a multitude of the heavenly host, saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among men.
When Jesus was born, there came 3 wise men from the east to worship him, bearing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
They look awful too. And what's that Leroy's got?
It's a ham.
A ham? I bet they stole it.
No, I think it's a ham from their welfare basket.
You mean it's their own ham? Then they must hate ham.
Well, even if they hate ham, Alice, it's the only thing they've ever given away in their whole life.
Beth, look. Mary's crying.
I wonder what she's thinking. After it was over, we had a party in the basement, but the Herdmans didn't stay.
They didn't steal the cookies, and they wouldn't even take their candy canes.
It did seem real, like it might have happened just that way. We all thought it was about a baby Jesus, but that was only part of it. It was about Joseph and Mary and the new baby, and they were in a lot of trouble. No money, no place to go. And then some rich guys showed up from the east.
Because of the Herdmans, it was a whole new story. Imogene burping the baby, the wise men bringing a sensible gift. After all, you can't eat frankincense.
But I guess it wasn't like that for Imogene.
To her, the whole Christmas pageant turned out to be wonder and mystery, as if she just learned what Christmas is all about.
Could you believe that was Imogene Herdman and all the rest?
Oh, I get weepy about the pageant. I guess it's the carols and the children and all.
There was just something different.
Well, the angel of the Lord was different.
Yes, but you know, I liked that. It had lots of spirit. Sometimes you can't even hear the angel of the Lord. I must call Grace and tell her. Who was the baby Jesus?
Why, it was a doll.
Oh, I don't think so, Irma.
Well, it did seem real.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, I guess so.